Where are you from? What's your nationality? What language do you speak? Hello, it's Carly from Learn English with Carly here, and today I have planned to wear my England top to show you that I'm from England and that I'm English and that I speak English. However, the weather here is a little bit snowy, so not the best time to wear an England football top. Here I am at William Griffin Park here in North Vancouver. This is actually a football pitch, but as you can see, it's covered in snow, which is actually frozen, so now it's super icy, so I need to be careful not to slip. Okay, learning country vocabulary is quite easy in English, and I'm sure you've learned plenty of country vocabulary already. But once we start to learn the nationalities and the languages, it can become a little bit trickier. With the World Cup 2022 taking place at the moment, I've chosen the countries that have been or are still taking part at the moment to teach you how to learn nationalities and how to say or write what language is spoken in that country. Firstly, let's look at the competing countries in the World Cup in order to answer the questions, where do you come from? Or where are you from? Remember, to answer these questions, we can say I'm from or I come from. The countries competing in the World Cup, and this is a revision for some of you, include England, Poland, Denmark, Spain, Wales, the United States of America, or we can shorten this to the United States, the US, or simply America, Mexico, Germany, Costa Rica, Morocco, South Korea, Uruguay, Canada, Iran, Tunisia, Australia, Croatia, Ecuador, Belgium, Cameroon, Brazil, Serbia, Ghana, Argentina, Portugal, Japan, Senegal, France, the Netherlands, some people call this Holland, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Switzerland. Notice that all countries in English begin with a capital letter, always, no exception. Okay, we've learnt the countries. Let's now think about the nationalities. When we learn nationalities for countries, it's best to group them because they are not so easy to learn. We can do this looking at the 8 endings that we add to the country name, known as suffixes. We have 8 of these. The first one is ish, English. We have Ian, Canadian. We have Ian, EAN, Korean. We also have An, American. Simply the I suffix, as in Qatari. And we have ease, as in Japanese. There are 2 suffixes that we won't be covering today, as these countries don't have teams in the World Cup, and they include the suffix ER, New Zealander, and also ik, as in Icelandic. These 8 suffixes were borrowed many years ago from other languages such as Greek, French, Latin, and even Arabic. This means that there are, unfortunately for us English learners, no grammar rules as such. Although I think this is the case for most languages, as few languages use a consistent construction such as a suffix to show nationality or language. So the easiest thing to do is to group these nationalities together by suffix so that they are easier to learn, and we can then answer the questions, what's your nationality? What language do you speak? Let's look first at the nationalities that end with the suffix sh. England is the country. The nationality is English. Poland, Polish. Denmark, Danish. Spain, Spanish. Wales, Welsh. You will notice that all these nationalities begin with a capital letter too. I'm English. You're Polish. Also, it's important to note that if we use any of these nationalities as an adjective, you must remember to capitalize it. For example, I like Spanish food, capital S. I have a Welsh friend, capital W. Let's turn our attention now to the nationalities that have the suffix an. America, American. Mexico, Mexican. Germany, German. Costa Rica, Costa Rican. Morocco, Moroccan. Uruguay, Uruguayan. If you are finding this lesson useful, please remember to click that subscribe button, and thank you in advance. The third suffix that we need to learn is ian. Canada, Canadian. Iran, Iranian. Tunisia, Tunisian. Australia, Australian. Croatia, Croatian. Ecuador, Ecuadorian. Belgium, Belgian. Cameroon, Cameroonian. Brazil, Brazilian. Serbia, Serbian. Ghana, Ghanaian. There are just 2 countries competing or have been competing in the World Cup that have the EAN suffix, and they include Argentina, Argentinian. South Korea, South Korean. And what about those with the suffix "-ese"? There are just 3 countries competing in the World Cup that have this suffix. Portugal, Portuguese. Japan, Japanese. Senegal, Senegalese. And we also have 2 countries where the nationality ends in an I. Qatar, Qatari. Saudi Arabia, Saudi. Now, there are of course some countries where the nationality doesn't follow these suffix endings, and they include France, French. Netherlands, Dutch. Switzerland, Swiss. So, in summary, when learning nationalities, be sure to make it easier for yourself by grouping the vocabulary according to the ending. You will notice some patterns. For example, the suffix "ish" is mainly used for European nationalities, English, Spanish, Irish, for example. And also, the suffix "I" is mainly used for Middle Eastern countries such as Saudi, Qatari. If the place name ends in a vowel, then use the suffix "an", A-N, or "ian", I-A-N. We use most of these nationalities as well to describe the languages that are spoken in each country. Thank you so much for joining me today here on a very frozen football pitch. Let me know what you think about the tips for learning nationalities by grouping the suffixes. I appreciate your feedback and your comments. All I need to say now is, come on England! Belgium. How'd you say that one again? Belgium. Ghana, Ghanaian. Is that right?